Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls New Game Plus Bosses. And today we're going to be taking on the Black Dragon Kalameet. Now the general consensus for this boss is you want to be very light, usually under 25% equip burden. I'm not doing that, as you see. I'm going with my regular loadout. To show you guys, you don't have to. It makes it a whole hell of a lot easier, but you don't have to. I'm going to get this out of the way right now. If you want to get the tail, I recommend getting phantoms and tell them beforehand you want the tail. I'm not going to show you how to get the tail. I did that in my last Let's Play, and let's face it, it was a pain in the butt. I'll tell you when and where to attack, but I'm not going to actually do it because it requires a lot of waiting if you're by yourself and a lot of patience. Now, the first order of business is learn his attacks. Learn to tell what is what. The easiest way to do this, albeit a somewhat odd way to do it, is go in there and just try and survive as long as you can. That sounds pretty self-explanatory, but I mean, don't even worry about hitting him. Just try and survive. Once you learn how to survive, the fight really isn't all that bad. It's still pretty bad, but it's not horrible. One of the, if not the biggest thing to do in this fight is learn when to lock on and when to break lock on. You don't have to lock on. It just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to survive as melee if you do. Keep in mind though, you will need a very, very good shield if you are going to block any of his attacks. I don't recommend blocking any of his fire though, even with a Black Knight shield. I'm not sure if his fire is actually fire or not, but I tried it. It really doesn't work. Now, the way you're supposed to evade this attack is roll to the side. Apparently, I wasn't quite far enough to the side, even though I was nowhere in that. But hey, I guess I was. If you do get hit by his telekinesis, and you see this red thing above you, like I do here, be very, very careful. I cannot stress that enough. Any damage from any source will be amplified, and that is a death wish. Also, be very careful of his two-strike melee. You can't really see it here, but his head is actually going backwards and will hit you in the back. The best way to deal with this is back up if you're going to block, so it stays in front of you. Now this seems somewhat suicidal, but if you're close enough and you see him gearing up for a wide-sweeping flamethrower, go in and chop him in the neck. It's a very easy time to hit him. And be very careful with his melee. It may look like you're going to block, but I can't count the number of times this session that I actually blocked and still got hit. So be very careful and try and back up if you're going to block. Now if you see him gearing up and getting ready to do what he just did here, you only have two choices. Roll to the side or block and pray you don't get hit with his back legs, because that can still hit you. Now if you see him fly up straight up, run away. As you see there, I actually rolled too early and the back leg actually hit me. Now if you want the tail, hit the tail there. That's one of the two times you can actually hit the tail if you're by yourself. Now if you do see him gearing up for a telekinesis attack and you've actually gotten pretty good at dodging them, it's a very good time to actually get a hit in on him. This is a fight you definitely want to take advantage of all the opportunities. This boss has a whole hell of a lot of health, so try and take advantage whenever you can. This fight all comes down to practice, 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 and being able to recognize what attacks he's using and how to evade them or block them if that's your thing. Now in this fight there are certain attacks that are better for dodging and certain attacks that are better for blocking, at least in my opinion. In my opinion, the better attacks for blocking are his regular melee, or his tail swipe if you have a good enough shield. The better attacks for evading are his flying charge, or his, well that, you just gotta roll forward, which seems again suicidal. This is usually made immensely easier, like I said way back in the beginning of the video, if you have light equip load, but you can still do it if you don't. That's how you properly evade that. That's also a time you can actually hit the tail if you're fast enough. But you have to be very fast, probably lower than 25% equip load, and you have to go around the side of him. One thing you should be aware of though, never go underneath him unless you have a very quick exit strategy, because he will trample all over you. Now if you do choose to use the Great Shield, the fight is a little bit safer. If you choose to go with a two-hand, or just choose the two-hand, this fight goes a lot faster, but if you do screw up, you're basically dead. It's really up to you. I like the safe path. Like I said earlier though, if you do choose to block that charge, you can still be hit. So I really would only recommend that as a last resort, or if you are really, really bad at dodging. One thing I haven't brought up, if he jumps really quickly like that, get away from him now. Otherwise you're liable to be caught in that black flame. Now if you're caught at mid-range when he starts his wide arcing flame, you got two choices. Either try and get to one of the sides very quickly and pray you don't get enveloped in it, or run right at him, like I did there. Fun fact for everybody out there, the times I did die in this fight before this was due to his melee, his head swipes, like the ones previous. So keep in mind, if you do decide to dodge and you screw up, you probably will die, so that's why I recommend blocking those and backing up. If you're a gutsy kind of guy or gal out there though, you can roll underneath them and get a hit in. It's just very, very gutsy and very risky, and I really wouldn't recommend it. Sadly though, there's no real magic strategy that makes this fight easy. Like I said before, this fight's all about execution and practice. You're gonna have to pay your dues here and learn his attacks. Or just summon help, either way. Now if you do like locking on like I do, if when he jumps up like this you don't break it, you will probably get engulfed in flames, so have a quick trigger finger if you like locking on. Of course, if you really don't care about the tail, this is also a pretty good time to heal, considering he just sits there with his tail on the ground. That was just embarrassing. I didn't realize that was going to be right in front of me, so I tried to roll to the side. Problem was my shield was already up, and I just ate a whole bunch of flames to the face. Of course, if he's not giving you any opportunities to heal, sometimes you just gotta make your own and what he gives you. That's a prime example of you want to back up. That's actually where I learned that. If you don't back up, that's probably gonna happen. Hit you in the back. Now, you actually want him to use telekinesis. Yes, if you do get hit, it really sucks. But it's also a very good time to hit him, if you're confident. If you're not confident, well, you're gonna have to deal with it anyway, so you might as well take the chance to dodge. Also, try to remember what you have equipped. I didn't have a bow there. I thought I did. Just a basic necessity, but you might want to remember what you have equipped. Also, keep aware of where you are. If he decides to jump and your back's to the wall like he did there, that's a very, very good time to hit him. I don't like taking things for granted, but I'll say it anyway. If you guys are having trouble with stamina, if you don't have Chloranthes ring, make sure you don't just hold the shield button down. It sounds elementary, but in this fight, stamina is king. If you can't sprint away from an attack, or if you can't roll, well, you might end up dead, so always keep that in mind. Just remember what things I've said, and you probably should be able to kill Kalameet. All you gotta do is practice, learn how to dodge his attacks, and hit him when you can. That's basically as easy as it is. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys learned his attack patterns and made it easier on yourselves. And I shall see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.